Picture it, Los Angeles, 2026. Welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I am HAlanScott, and I am flying solo for the intro. Kerri is off this week, you know, babies and busy schedules and things just happening and stuff. So I am here, but don't worry, because I do have a guest. Yes, I do have a guest, and you'll be getting to that guest real soon. So just sit back. We got some good things coming today. But before we get to that, I want to say, first off, go to the Patreon, because there's going to be a Rusty Anchor happy hour this weekend. Let me tell you, it's unhinged. It's unhinged, and it involves Oreos. Yes, it involves Oreos. That's the teaser. That's the teaser for this week. I feel like it's in honor of little Oreo, just cause, whatever. Also, I feel like of all the girls, I feel Rose probably loved an Oreo best. Although we know that Blanche probably liked an Oreo too. I have a feeling Blanche probably went to town on a package of Oreos. There's probably an episode where that's mentioned. Is it? I don't know. You let me know. But yes, the Rusty Anchor happy hour. It's still happening this week, and it's going to be me flying solo, doing something with an Oreo. So if that's not enough of a teaser, I don't know what is. But today's guest he's fantastic. His name is Billy Lorusso, and I've discovered him on Instagram because he has these videos where he's really funny. He talks about sort of what the girls would be like now, kind of in a really funny way. And I immediately was like, well, you're a fan of the Golden Girls and you're really funny, so you need to do this Golden Girls podcast. And he, of course, said yes. And so he is my guest today. Now, we will be watching an episode as well. The first half of our conversation is going to be a little bit about him and about his love of the Golden Girls, and we're just going to fan out on the Golden Girls because that's why we're all here. And then the later part of our conversation is going to be about Letters to Gorbachev. Yes, the season 3 episode, which is one of my favorites. It has, of course, the iconic Sophia song, "Thanks for the Medicare," but it also has Blanche singing to, "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" situation while she's in Russia in the dream part. There are so many good moments in this episode that it is, of course, it's a favorite. Of course, it's a favorite, but it also might be one of my favorite Sophia episodes, which is funny because she doesn't have a huge storyline in it, but she is just, Estelle Getty is so good in it. So we're going to be talking about that episode. So sit back, have some fun, because we're going to get into some Out on the Lanai today with my guest, Billy Lorusso. We'll be right back. Billy Lorusso, I'm obsessed with you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sweetie? I'm obsessed with you too.
Oh, shut up. I love there's a certain bit of a level of notoriety that I love that I can have in that, like, when you have a certain amount of Instagram followers, it does allow you to then slide into the DMs of a strange man. And some people might abuse this privilege and be like, "Hey, show me the nudes." And I'm not saying I'm above that, but what I'm saying is I at least can slide into yours and be like, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with your Golden Girls videos. I need you to do my podcast. Please take me seriously. I have lots of followers."
Yeah.
And it worked.
And it worked like a charm, darling. It worked like a charm. And everyone I told that I was going to be on this podcast was well aware of who you are and what your shtick is. So you've got a name out there, darling.
You're smart. You're smart that you did some homework, because there's a lot of people who just immediately would take the yes and not do the research. But you are a writer, my friend. You were like, Absolutely. Wait, before I say yes to this, I'm going to text. Who did you text? Who did I know? Do I know anyone?
Listen, sweetie, I've gone to enough strange men's homes to know that you should do your research before you show up.
Yes.
No, really, it's just like I work part-time as a personal trainer. So I work at a gym surrounded by other homosexuals, if you will.
Yes.
And so, I think they're all just really plugged into the community that we have here in Los Angeles, and are very familiar with you. Yeah.
You know what's really funny about so you being a personal trainer, hot, but also what I think is funny is like like, I'm the farthest away from anyone who would be considered, like, appropriate for a gym. Like, I like, me going into a gym is like Nathan Lane trying to drive a car in the birdcage. Like, it is like, it is actually probably dangerous for me to be
Right.
in a gym.
Yeah, comically dangerous. I you'd be surprised. I have a lot of clients who are the exact same way that will get on machines in positions that are absolutely not meant to they're not meant to
Yeah,
be in.
yeah.
Upside down, using their shoulders when they should be using their legs. It's a very and I let them do it too. They all
Yeah.
know I'm cool. I let them do it and then and then we laugh about it.
Oh, well, see, you're probably a good personal trainer then, because you probably because I did once have, it was years ago, and they put me on a bike, and it had a little thing, and he had said something about, like, not like, whatever, he was alluding to me being uncomfortable on the seat, not because I'm fat or whatever, I am, but because of my, like, genitals, and I made a joke being like, "First off, I had cancer. I only have one testicle, so I fit great here. And secondly, thank you for presuming that my genitals are worth being taken care of, because basically my thighs hide them. Like, there's not much there. I think I'm good. We're good. I'm going to be fine on this bike." Fast forward, I didn't go back for another training session because I realized gyms aren't for me. But still, I made him very
Narrator.
uncomfortable. I made him very
Very cool.
uncomfortable.
As we do.
As
As
we
we do.
do.
And you
As
know
we
what?
do.
That's our job, I think.
I think
I
so.
I was in an improv scene this past weekend, and I said
Where do
to
you do
one of
improv?
UCB.
Okay,
Yep, UCB on Franklin in LA.
great.
So I said to one of my friends, "Oh, the job of the weird one is to always the job of the weird person in the scene is to always make the straight man as uncomfortable as possible." And I just said,
Mhm.
"That's just like my everyday life in general anyway."
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
there's so much. I mean, I just had it just recently, and we're gonna get to the Golden Girls in a second, but I just had an interview today, you would be interested in this, drop with, Richard Gadd. He is the writer-creator from Baby Reindeer, and he has a new show out called Half Man, and it's very
amazing.
queer-coded, this new show. It's very good. It's very, very good. And in the show, he had to, like, really muscle up, and so in the clip that Newsweek posted, out of context, it makes me seem like a loser. Well, most things make me seem like a loser, but still, out of context, this really made me seem weird. So we were joking back and forth about, like, the muscle and how UK dudes, when they get all, like, whatever, they act a little gay. They act a little gay in their muscle broy. The broiness of UK dudes is pretty gay. Just saying.
Mm,
And so when I was talking to him about having to muscle up, he was telling me that he didn't wanna, like, go, like, six-pack gym bro guy. He wanted the guy to be, like, burly, muscly, or whatever. And when he
right.
was saying gym bro, I was like, "Oh, because that would be, like, too gay. That'd be a little too gay. That'd be a little too gay." And then
Yeah.
I'm doing which you're like, "Oh, that makes total sense. But out
Well,
of
I mean,
context on a Newsweek clip, Billy, that make
exactly.
that makes
They're
me
like,
look
"Yeah,
like a freak."
you're the villain. Yeah, you're
Yes.
the villain in that. You're the villain in that story." But no, it
Villain.
is true. I mean, I will say, like, rugby is a very gay sport, and
Thank you.
look at that. I mean,
Thank you.
that is the absolute gayest sport I could probably think of, to be honest. If ice capades, maybe, but even that, it doesn't has less butt slapping.
That's true. And aren't, like, abs the gayest of the muscles?
Yeah, I'd say abs and glutes, baby. I mean, glutes are pretty
Glutes.
gay.
What are glutes? Is that butt?
That's butt, baby. That's all.
Okay.
That's all butt.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you've got three of
Glutes.
them too.
You think so? Christopher Maloney's gay.
Oh, I mean, in in my dreams, yes. In
Yeah.
in my world, yeah.
You
In
know,
my little slice of the world, yes.
let me tell you, he's a heterosexual that I question, because I once interviewed him and I told him that his appearance, his time on Oz was a sexual awakening for me
Mm,
and many other homosexuals across the world. And he didn't seem to appreciate that. And I was like, "You know what? Okay, that's cool, but
interesting.
that's weird too, because,
Yeah,
like, you're important. Like, you're kind of our Farrah Fawcett on the wall."
yeah, he is. I mean, and not only is he just like an attractive daddy, he
Yes.
is very comedically talented as well. I always go back to him on Veep in the little stint that he played
Yes. Yes.
as the personal trainer, and oh my god, he's
Yes.
just so like hysterical, and it's so uh anti antithetical. No, it's so opposite what he plays typically.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I worked with him on he wouldn't remember me at all ever, but I was the assistant to the showrunner on Harley Quinn, the HBO
Okay.
Max.
Yes.
So during season 4, he voiced one of the characters, and
Oh.
so I did a lot of recording sessions with him. This was during COVID, so it was all over Zoom
Mhm.
and whatnot. But I mean, I remember we were writing lines for him in the writers' room, and he was just
Mm.
so funny and locked in, and it was really fun to work with him to see that different side of him.
That's nice. Did you talk about Oz?
Hot. We didn't talk about Oz. I
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not, have not watched Oz.
Wait, how
Um,
old are you, Billy?
I know. Oh, a lady never reveals. No, I'm 35.
I
Um,
know. A lady reveals
I
when
know.
they're this lady who's older than 35 is going to make you reveal that you're 35. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I get it. I understand. As an elder millennial, you just need to understand the experience in which Christopher Maloney had on all of the elder millennial homosexuals. Many people listening can relate to it was very much Blanche coded, you know, spraying yourself with the water bottle situation.
Yeah.
Like that is the impact of Christopher Maloney
I
all the
get it,
way.
baby.
You
I
get
love
it.
that.
You get it.
I get it.
Well, Billy, okay. So one of the things that I love about your Instagram is you do, and it isn't just Golden Girls, but you have done a few Golden Girls, which is what I became obsessed with, videos where and they kind of become a little thing. They become a little bit of a series for you, right? Where you do sort of what would the Golden Girls think about the election or whatever, like things now. How did it come about? What made you want to do? Well, first off, what do you mean you want to focus on Golden Girls, and secondly, what made you want to do those videos?
So the first video I did was with with the Desperate Housewives, who we could spend another
Oh God,
decade just talking about Desperate
I
Housewives.
could write a
Uh,
book about Felicity Huffman.
and you know what? And I would read it twice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
And she's so
but
out of work, she'd narrate it.
honestly true. She's my girl. My girl Annette will pick up crumbs, baby. At this point, love her to death.
Love
Um,
her.
yeah,
Love her.
someday when I'm a showrunner, she can work. She can work with me.
Yes.
But at any rate, I started in 2024 during the election cycle, and I was like, this is just silly and funny. Let me, like, who
Hmm.
would Gabby vote for? Who would Susan vote for? So I started coming up with these little scenarios, and they started to slowly take off. So, I
Hmm.
like, let me just run through the gamut of all of my favorite TV shows and do this. So
Yeah.
Golden Girls was the third I did. I did Desperate Housewives, and then I did Friends, and then I did Golden Girls.
Okay.
And all three of those kept blowing up and getting bigger and bigger. So I went into Sex and the City. I went into Modern Family. I went into all of the shows that I loved. Um, and from then, I started planning when they were taking off. I was like, all right, well,
Hmm.
we've only got really 3 months until the election comes. And then after that, what do I do with this? Because people are
Yeah.
enjoying it. So I decided to sort of branch out trifold from it,
Hmm.
and continue with current events. So anything in pop culture. There was when the hippo Mudong was really really big. I did a couple
Hmm.
episodes of like, here's what the Sex and the City girls would think about Mudang, the hippo.
Hmm.
The Iran war is a
Hmm.
big one right now, which a lot of people aren't happy that I do those. I get a lot of comments that are like, "This is disgusting. This is vile. This is not funny." And
People
uh,
can't. People just can't have fun. Yeah.
it's a lot of that, I think. I try not to take it too personally because I remember that everyone's
Don't.
sense of humor is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, like with those current events ones, especially like major things like the Epstein files or the Iran war, things that if you watch the videos, you can see I'm very actively against.
Yeah.
I think a
No
lot
one's
of us.
for Epstein.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
list of people. There's a
Well,
list of people who
there
might
are some
be, but
people who are denying
you
it,
know,
but in this
we
in
are.
this
Yeah.
house, no one's for
And
them.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like I think a lot of us feel right now, a lot of people in the arts and a lot of people in general would feel very like helpless. Like the world is very dark right now.
Mhm.
The world is very scary right now, and there's not a lot that we can do. So my brain goes to, what can I do? Like, I
Yeah.
can't do anything other than what I am here to do, which is write comedy and personal train. Well, I'm doing the personal training every single day and I'm having fun with my clients and I love that. And the comedy writing, I'm not just going to stop trying to be funny. I
Yeah.
get it. I get why it's insensitive and seemingly irreverent. But if you watch the videos, you'll see my position on these things is very much anti that. And I
Yeah.
think that they're similar. I mean, my humor was shaped by the Golden Girls. My humor was
Mhm.
shaped by Saturday Night Live. My humor was shaped by these giants who would take what was happening in the news and satirize it, who would
Yeah.
take what's happening in the news and comment on it in a way that didn't alienate.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really try to do. And so that's what the current events sector of it sort of did.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I have my original characters that have also branched off of that. There's a Julia Sugarbaker character who pops up
Mm.
and then, full wig and pearls and has commentary on things. I think a lot of people tend to really enjoy her because I myself, I think am a lot like Julia Sugarbaker in the sense that I've got a lot to say and
Yeah.
I'm very blunt about how I say it, but I
Mhm.
always do it well and there's a sweetness behind it. There's like I'm not from the South, but there's like a Southern gentility to it that, you
Mhm.
know, has. And then the third piece of it is, and this one has been kind of the most fun for me is just writing new episodes. I'm just like, when there's
Yeah.
nothing going on, and, I've already done the Golden Girls and the Epstein files, the Golden Girls in the election, the Golden Girls in the Iran war. I'm like, well, you know what? Let
Mhm.
me just write a Golden Girls Halloween episode. Let me just write a
Yeah.
Golden Girls episode where Sophia is, they want to have a garage sale. And
Mhm.
Sophia, so that's how it evolved and the fun that I have with it. So,
I love that. I love that so much. And let me just say to the one thing about the Golden Girls community and online is, if you take something that people love, they have a nostalgic love for, and you put them in a lane that somehow isn't the lane that people remember them as, people get very touchy, people get very whatever. But, like, one of the things that I think is so great about the Golden Girls audience is that, and one of the things that is so great about the Golden Girls is that the Golden Girls didn't shy away from talking about complicated things like
yeah.
gay marriage, like AIDS, like, I mean, so many different things that there's even an episode where someone is possibly considering suicide, like assisted
Mhm.
suicide. Sophia's considering it. Those back in the 80s and 90s, those were controversial issues. And the Golden
Mhm.
Girls did it with humor. And yes, it was taboo to talk about at the time, but they did it with humor, they did it with honesty, and they did it with love, and they did it with, more importantly, inclusion. And so I think in doing that, they set a precedent for all of the fans of the Golden Girls to then say, hopefully, at least the ones that get it, I'll say, understand that, oh, this is a way to actually talk about something using
Mhm.
humor. What would the Golden Girls think of the election, etc. Using humor to do that gets people thinking about issues that are important while also doing it in a relatable way that people can relate to the nostalgia of the things that they love. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's exactly my viewpoint, and my thing is, and to me, if you want just the news, there are plenty of outlets for that. You
Yeah.
can scroll past my videos.
Yeah.
My the way I see my, like, contribution to this because, I'm not in government and politics. I don't
Yeah.
have a massive platform. I'm not a
You're working
major
on your glutes and you have a good
exactly, yeah,
platform.
thank you very much, but
Yes.
I'm trying to do exactly that. Do something in a
Yeah.
way that provides commentary and without necessarily forcing someone's hand on how to feel or what to think. But, like, I'm outraged that the Epstein files just keep getting buried. Like, it's
Yeah. Same.
what
Yeah.
can I do? I can sit in my room and stew about it, or I
Mhm.
can write something with my comedic voice in my point of view from the point of views of these characters that will
Mhm.
hopefully keep, at least in some small way, the files in the news or
Yeah.
on generating. So people are continuing to be mad about it. People remember, oh, they
Mhm.
might see my video in 3 months and be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I haven't seen anything about the Epstein files in a while. Maybe I, call my senator or whatever. Things that I've done, I'm
Yeah.
doing the work behind the scenes as well, but that's my kind of hope. And aside from those things, the messages that I get from some people are so beautiful.
Yeah.
That are just like, thank you so much. I needed this laugh so badly today. I had a really beautiful message from someone once who is recently, maybe a month or two ago, who said, her mother had been diagnosed with cancer and that she hadn't
Mm,
laughed in weeks and that this was the first thing that brought a massive laugh to her. And I was like,
that's nice.
that is why I want to do this stuff. So,
Yeah.
I understand why some people find it offensive and irreverent, but,
But it's
I'm going
also
to.
how you respond to it. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that I think is, there's a lane for everybody and there's something for everybody. And the internet is niche. And if you get outraged by something, you don't need to vocalize unless you're actually offended in a way that you think it's causing a disservice to the world, maybe here, put your voice out there. But if it doesn't matter, like, just scroll on. One of my favorite Golden Girls podcasters slash people in the Golden Girls sort of VIP world, if you will, the people who are like, doing the talking and stuff, is Barrett from So Good We Named It. And one of the things that I love about him is he talks about the girls in a really honest way, and he responds to the community in a really honest way. And he sometimes gets backlash for how he talks or what he says. And it's like, but he stands by it. And I love that because in the community, we want strong opinions. We want like people to have hot takes, and we want people to be themselves, and we want to celebrate people being themselves. And I think Barrett's an example of that. I think you're an example of that. I think anyone who's just sort of out here doing it in their own way, if you're not shitting on the girls, because if you start shitting on the girls, then I'm gonna get
Different
angry.
story. Yeah.
That's when we get angry. If you say
Yep.
something bad about Rose, trust me, the wig will come off and I will put the earrings off. I will start fighting.
The mob comes running for you, baby. The
Yes.
mob comes running for you.
That's the line too far. But other than that, have fun, I say.
And that's the thing. I think, I like yourself. I've listened to your show. It's not that we don't have criticisms of the girls,
No.
but
Yeah.
it's justified. And so it's not just a random criticism that you have a point of view that you back up with
Yeah.
why, and this is why I am criticizing this particular episode or this particular character trait or whatnot. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as a whole, I mean, that show, just case in point, the fact that we are here 40 years later having a conversation about it, that
Mm-hmm.
show did so much for culture, for gay men, especially women. There's so many
Yeah.
like doors that were kicked down. And when you think of massive shows, the really big ones, Friends,
Yeah.
Seinfeld and Modern Family, things like that, and you compare them to the Golden Girls. I love all of those shows that I just mentioned too,
Mm-hmm.
but the Golden Girls had such a really specific, honed
Yeah.
way of commenting on
Mm-hmm.
current events and cultural movements that the other shows necessarily didn't. Those topical events didn't come into play as much. In
Yeah.
Friends.
I would argue, I think you're right in so far as like Friends and stuff, because there was no hot topics or diversity on Friends. But that said, on Modern Family, I think they led by example. They led, we didn't talk about the immigration experience, but there was a clear example of the
Mhm.
immigration experience on the show. We didn't talk about they didn't talk about the gay experience necessarily,
Yeah.
but there was a clear example of gay acceptance on the show. And I think, and that to me is sort of how I live, is that like, I'm not out here with like a union sign like Sally Field and Norma Ray. That's a
Sure.
reference of elder millennials will get. Sorry, Billy. But
I get,
like okay, good.
let's pause there for a second and put some respect on Miss Sally Field's name because
yes, thank you.
yeah,
I'm talking with her in
yeah.
a few weeks.
Oh my
But
God, stop! I love her. Tell her I love
I
her.
know, I will. And she'll be like, "Oh, that guy."
Yeah,
No, I'm not out here doing that. That said, I do think, and I've always thought this: if you are authentically living yourself in whatever that means, be it queer, be it a person of color, be it being prideful in your gender, and whatever it is that
Mhm.
you are living out loud, that inherently is a political statement, and that is your political statement. And you don't necessarily have to always vocalize it. You can just live it, but you can also vocalize it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think where I what I should have said better was that Modern Family, because it's a show where you know what you're watching, like you know, you
Mm-hmm.
look and there's these examples of immigration, of gay marriage, of
Mm-hmm.
adopting. um you know sort of what you're signing up for when you start watching.
Mm-hmm.
By episode, by the pilot tells you everything you need to know about what this series
Yep.
is and what you're going to be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Golden Girls,
You
if
don't.
you tune into yeah, exactly, you tune into a random episode, you just see four white, women in their 50s and 60s and
Yeah.
living in Florida. You can assume it's really anything until you get sort of sucker punched with an episode about
Yeah.
AIDS or an episode
Yeah.
about homelessness or an episode, so they really tackled these ways by first endearing themselves to fans and to
Mm-hmm.
the public, and then really navigating these difficult topics. Whereas, like you said, Modern Family is pilot right out of the gate. This is what we're going to be, and you're going to see this family living together and the chaos that we have. So yeah, two beautiful examples of
Yeah.
cultural movements and how to do things, and honestly, two of the best sitcoms I think I've ever seen.
Totally.
Um, so yeah, just really interesting
Incredible.
the evolution there.
So we're gonna take a little break, but when we come back, we're gonna talk. Because I was thinking of like an episode that has modern sort of topics involved in it because it talks about Russia, Letter to Gorbachev. Like it's one of my favorite episodes, but it also has some iconic moments in it. But we're gonna focus on the Russia of it all and have some fun with Letters to Gorbachev. So Billy, don't go anywhere. Do some squats, and we'll come right back. So, Letters to Gorbachev. First off, when do you think? I mean, when did you first start watching Golden Girls, Billy?
So Golden Girls has a really special place in my heart, because that is what I used to. And I think, a lot of us in the millennial age have this experience. I grew up watching it with my grandparents. Uh,
Mm,
my grandmother and my grandfather on my mother's side really kind of raised me.
yeah.
Um, me and my two siblings really spent a lot of time there. And so growing up, I watched a lot of Laverne and Shirley. I watched a lot of I Love Lucy.
I was
Yeah.
just in Milwaukee. Schlemiel,
Uh,
Schlemazel, Hudson Bedford
Hudson
Incorporated.
Incorporated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do the whole song. I can do the whole
Oh, I
song.
bet. Basically,
Yeah.
Lenny and Squiggy were like
Oh,
comic icons for me. Penny Marshall. I loved these shows. So
yeah.
I grew up, at in 1995, 96. I was 4, 5, 6 years old, in that
Mm,
range, watching The Jeffersons, watching Laverne and Shirley, watching
mm.
Three's Company. I loved
Three's
these shows.
Company too. Sorry.
Voodoo, voodoo. No, yeah, we can do that. I get this could be a whole nother
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
But so I watched those things, and I really, no surprise to anybody listening, I'm sure. I just love strong female characters.
Yeah.
Just, a woman with an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I Love Lucy was I when people ask me how I got into comedy, I say my top three things are I Love Lucy is first and foremost. Lucille Ball is and
Yeah.
forever will be an icon for me. Molly Shannon is my
Mm,
number two. I was,
mm-hmm.
I think, 7 years old when I first encountered Mary Catherine Gallagher, and just
Mm,
watching that woman be so bold and loud
mm-hmm.
on stage, and just like, oh, the movie Superstar. I remember my mother rented it for me. I probably burned that VHS out. I used to
Yeah.
pull the VHS straps out and pretend they were a pocketbook, so that because yeah. And my third one is Alex Borstein, who
Oh yeah.
again, I grew up. I was about 6 or 7 when I discovered Mad TV sketch comedy, and
Yeah.
so I was obsessed with them. But to answer that was a very long answer to a very short question. But I started watching it when I was about 4 or 5 years old with my grandparents,
Okay.
and I've been watching Golden Girls ever since.
Yeah. Well, so what is your overall take of this episode, Letters to Gorbachev?
I love this episode. I think it's hysterical. I think there are a lot of iconic bits, like you
Yeah.
just said. I think there are a lot of woo moments as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I this episode in particular, well, a lot of them do this, but I rewatching it, I remember when I was 6 years old, I had no idea who Imogene Coca was.
Gorbachev was
Or, yeah,
exactly.
who Gorbachev was for that point.
Yeah.
But now watching it in my 30s, it's funny because I went back and Googled like 4 different names because
Mm.
Valerie Harper, like just to get a
Yeah.
visual. because there
Yeah.
are so many jokes that are referential that go over my head,
Yeah.
because I wasn't 35 or 40 when when the Golden Girls was out.
Yeah.
So it's really fun now to like lean into those and see things that I might have missed, or physical descriptions of people that I missed because I didn't know what Valerie Harper looked like or whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think my big notes for this episode, I love it. I think it's hysterical. My big notes for it were not enough Sophia, because I
Ah,
do love when my girl Sophia is in there.
yeah.
Um and you know what, I will say she has, I think, in my opinion, the
Yeah,
best
she has
line.
my favorite. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play that in a bit. But yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has Sophia, not enough Sophia, and then just again, I know we say very often for the time it was very different, but the insensitivity around the Native American community,
Yes.
which like it's you watch it and it's like, ooh, and it's not the worst thing
Well,
that you can
here,
see from that era, but
totally. And here's what I always say about instances in which jokes don't necessarily age well. And I
mm,
always say it was wrong at the time, it's wrong today. That said, you have to think of the writing within the context of the time it was written. And like Amy
oh
Poehler always says, comedy has an expiration date. Comedy isn't something that necessarily is meant to last forever, but because of the world we live in, we're able to experience these things over and over and over again and watch them all the time. And so sometimes comedy, you gotta have the context of the time in which it was coming out, and the way in which certain topics were perhaps spoken of. It doesn't make it right, but
no,
the context of the time at least helps explain the reasoning for, if that makes sense.
no, it absolutely does. It's pieces of history. It's
Yeah.
things that it's not. At the time, it wasn't inherently bad. Exactly. Was it wrong at the time?
Yeah.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's part of the history of comedy. It's part of the history of sitcom. It's
Yeah.
the way things were approached. Would they do that now? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's similar with Chandler's dad on Friends. They're not going to have
Yeah.
a trans character played by a cisgendered woman
Yeah.
um, on Friends, but
Although
things
Kathleen
change.
Turner was great. Just gonna say, Kathleen Turner was great.
Kathleen Turner is great. She's fabulous in everything. She could,
And I
you
listen,
know,
I'm not a trans person, but I'm on the spectrum. No, I'm not a trans person, but I will say, if I had to poll a lot of trans friends, I think they would say Kathleen Turner would be an honorary member if you really had to break it down.
and she would probably gladly accept because she is a
Exactly. Kathleen Turner. She's Kathleen motherfucking Turner. Anyway,
exactly
yes, I think you're exactly right. I think you're exactly right. And so in watching this episode, one of the things you brought up another thing about some of the references. And I think what's so funny about the references, that's one of the things that I love about having like the smartphone is that
right.
it like we get to watch these episodes 40 years after they aired or whatever. And if we hear a name or something we don't get, we can just pull out our phone and literally just Google it in the moment and then laugh again at the joke that we just heard that we didn't understand a second ago. And that to me, it's sort of like in a weird way, our nostalgia is educating us because we're having to research some of these references we don't get. And I love it.
Exactly. No, I do too. When I That's the hardest part for me about writing the Golden Girls episodes, is coming up with things that feel timely for 1986 and that
Mm,
also make sense to me and the audience that's watching it today.
yeah.
An Imogene Coca joke is not going to land for
No.
an audience of 26-year-olds on Instagram, but
No.
so
No.
those things, so it's
Who would
fun.
be the Imogen Coca of today? I don't know. Who would that be? What would be the comparison for that today?
That's tough.
All right, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
I don't
very
even
tough.
know what Imogen Coca. Wait, what? How do you spell that name?
Imogene, Coca, Coca.
Okay, okay, hold on. Oh, Imogen. Who? Oh. I think it would
Yeah.
be maybe Aubrey Plaza. Maybe,
Okay. Cute.
maybe a little Kristen. No, kind of. Maybe a little Olivia Colman.
Okay. I could see. I like where you were going with Kristen Wiig. I could see a Kristen Wiig and Olivia Colman mashup.
I mean,
Like,
I'm just saying.
well, the thing is, I mean, Imogene Coca was so funny and
Yeah,
so I feel like Wig's personality and character
yeah.
persona with a Coleman look, absolutely,
Yeah, I think Coleman's had that hair at some point. Um,
absolutely.
So this episode, clearly, a large part of it is about Rose's letter to Gorbachev, and then the Russian government gets it. They mistakenly think that she's a little girl, and then there's the reveal at the end. We all know the episode. I wanted to play each of the girls' Russia speeches in the dream sequence because I absolutely love them, and then we'll react after each one. So here's the first one.
Thank you. I want you to know Dr. Zhivago is my favorite movie of all time.
So did you get that reference, Billy?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
The reason
good.
I got that reference though is because I majored and have a master's degree in English and literature. So
Okay.
I have spent time around a lot of literature.
So you get the Dr. Zhivago of it all.
I do indeed.
Of all the girls' looks in Russia, which one was your favorite?
Okay. So I remember that Dorothy's bothered me because the green scarf she was wearing just felt, I mean, it felt very Dorothy, but it just didn't feel like it was, moving with. Rose looked adorable.
In the
But I mean,
white, yeah.
or Blanche was in the white, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, Blanche's in the white. You're right.
Blanche is
Yes.
in the white. I think I will. Blanche looks great. Blanche looks like Blanche, but I think I have to say Rose, and for a very specific reason. One, I think she's the first person we see in that cutaway.
Yeah.
And so we see her, and just the black faux fur that she's wearing with the white snow on it looks so pretty. So I will say that's probably my favorite look. Is
my favorite is Sophia because she dresses like how I want to dress in most most situations. I recently had to be at a wedding and I had to dress up. And listen, I looked good, but
you pull it together, girl.
I pull it together. But honestly, if I could just show up at a place wearing shorts and a jean jacket with my little bag, like I'm good to I don't. So the fact that she showed up in her house coat, get it,
Sweetie.
girl.
Remember, you're talking to a personal trainer. I wake up every morning, throw on a sweatshirt and sweatpants, and I go to work in a place that smells like
That's true. That's
like a total
true.
tank.
I didn't even think about the smells. Thank God I don't go to the gym. Okay, here's the next clip.
Now I'd like to introduce my friends. No, this is Dorothy.
You have a very beautiful country, and I have enjoyed my stay here. When it comes down to it, your lives aren't really that different than ours, except for your toilet paper. No wonder you people always look so grouchy.
Now, okay, that joke, this is what I love about the writing on Golden Girls. That joke could have ended at toilet paper. Like that would have, and that got a laugh, and it would have been enough. And she had the longest one, and I guess Blanche kind of does, but they decided to give Dorothy or B. Arthur that little button on the joke that already got the laugh because of, I think, the way she delivers it. When Dorothy does that sort of, or when B. Arthur does that sort of, you don't even, no wonder you look that way. Yep. Smile, condescending. Like there is this, I just loved it.
I adore that. And I often wonder, one of my favorite shows of all time is Veep. And I will say until the day I die that I wish I were a writer on Veep. I wish I was at the time of Veep. And the reason I love it so much is because so much of it is improvised, and you can see they're just such skilled improvisers. So I always wonder what pieces of Golden Girls were improvised, and what
next to none.
Really?
Yeah, next to none. And the writers have spoken about that, and we've had a lot of them on over the years. And there's this one clip. This is something that Barrett from So Good We Named It calls out a lot. And I love Barrett because Barrett will just call something out. There's this clip that goes viral of Rose, I think telling the Great Herring War. I think that's it. And of course, Dorothy and Blanche are like dying of laughter. Like they think it's the funniest thing they've ever heard. And some person out there, not you listening, you people would never do this, but someone who doesn't know the Golden Girls made a clip saying, would you believe how great improvise, like this was not scripted or blooper or whatever it was. And it was fully scripted. Like, it's not this, they're meant to laugh. Like, this is all, and it infuriates me so much when people put that
I've
kind of
seen
false information out there.
I have seen that floating around, yeah, and they
Yeah.
all focus on how, how B and, oh my god, Rue can't keep it
Yeah.
together, and
But
it's like, yeah,
that was
but
the
yeah,
note.
yeah, yeah,
Oh god. But yeah, no, so most of it wasn't, very little of it was improvised. Most of it was just scripted. And these actresses, while they would be able to improvise, and they did over the course of their career, and I'm sure they gave suggestions on delivery and what they would do or whatever. But like, if you go back and you watch, the Academy did some interviews with all of the women, and if you go back and you watch them, they talk about how much they just loved, they were wed to the words. They loved the words. The writers were just great, and they felt a responsibility to, as Valerie Cherish says, honor the work.
period. And you know
Yeah.
what? I mean, as a writer, you know what my stance on this is going to be. That's great. I mean, great actresses just elevate great writing, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it was. I have no doubt that that room was probably filled with cigarettes, and the writers'
Oh,
room
I
was
hope.
probably filled with cigarettes and Coca-Cola and just greasy food, and they were just hysterically
Mm.
all cracking up at alt jokes for every line, and being able to hear them.
Mm.
Every sitcom, the first few seasons are like Bambi walking, sort of finding the characters. And Golden Girls, I think, is one of the rarer examples where it was kind of within like the first 4 or 5
Yeah.
episodes, they were off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
These women knew their characters. They were professionals and the writers just locked into their voices, into their
Yeah.
cadences so well. It's rare to
Well,
see.
speaking as someone who locked in to the character real well, Rue McClanahan, we have to hear her singing in this episode.
Hello, you all. I have had such a great time here that I would like to express my appreciation to Premier Gorbachev on this special day. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Number One Communist. Happy birthday to you.
On the last episode of Out on the Lanai, I spoke with Kerri about how, and this was at the wedding, I was speaking about the wedding. I spoke about how my persona in the world is just, I read horny. I read horny, and I'm becoming, as I age, more and more like Blanche. And that's just what I deliver. Even though I might not look it, I read it. You know what I mean? Like, you get it. Like, you
Yeah,
get it.
I love that. I'm a very big, and I think these things can shift, but I'm very big on the 4 character rule that we're each one of us is just a synthesis of 4 characters from television.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you had posted something about Mickey from The Comeback a couple
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
ago. I mean, Mickey is,
Yeah.
first of all, just a chef's kiss of a character.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like Mickey, Blanche smashed together. Absolutely. I can
There's
see it.
this one line that Mickey has in season 2 when he forgets to, he had a one night stand, and he had a lot to drink, and he slept, and that guy, naked guy, comes out of the whatever, and Val's in the room, and there's all kinds of crazy things happening, and he and Val have a moment together where the camera catches it, but it's sort of a moment between the two of them, and she thinks he's, she goes, can you still, because of his cancer and stuff, and she sort of is alluding to being able to get it up, like that's what she's alluding to, and then he goes, Val, I've got a lot of problems, but that's not one of them. And it's just, and I think I saw my future.
Like,
Like, I think I saw who I'm destined to be in
but
that
that's
moment.
exactly, and that's a very Blanche line right there. I've got a
Yes.
lot of problems, but that's not one of them. Like,
Yes. Yes.
like it's just
Yes.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. Let's play Sophia in this clip, because you can't leave out Sophia's entrance.
Ma, what are you doing here?
Thanks a lot for leaving me home. Lucky I found this nice German kid who flew me to Red Square. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're dying to hear my act, so I'll get right to it. I just flew in from Miami, and boy, I gotta tell you, your Moscow is one clean town. No litter on the streets, and all the bugs are in the American embassy.
It's so like I think for some people that's probably a joke they're not gonna get. Like they're not gonna but then again, I'm also like, we're still angry at Russia. So like I feel like that's a pretty still topical joke, right?
I think so. It's complicated because I think that we are still mad at Russia because we're told to be mad at Russia.
Oh, that's
And
true.
so I think a lot of people, and I hope this doesn't, I mean, the listeners of this podcast are probably agreeing with me. Like, I think if you critically, if you learned history and you paid attention and, Soviet relations, and that you would you get the joke about the bugs and the American embassy is
Mhm.
hysterical. And you understand sort of how we got here today. But I think there are a lot of people who probably don't understand the joke and they just hate Russia because we're told to hate Russia, you know?
Yeah, we are told to hate a lot of things, aren't we? I
Oh, yeah,
hate that.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Like
can't stand that either.
I hate being told what to hate. I'll hate what I wanna hate.
Exactly. Let me make up my
Yeah.
own mind.
That's not a bad that's a hot take. Okay, so we know how this story unfolds, and it is kind of for me in this episode, like obviously it's found out. Rose learns that they thought she was a child. She's mortified, whatever. But then she tells the truth, and then the Russian guy who's there, decides
Mhm.
to become a resident of Miami. That was really funny to me, and whatever. The episode ends, but for me, my favorite part of the rest of this episode is Sophia. And I'm just going to say it. Sophia's one of my favorite parts of this episode, and it almost I relate to it because I feel like I'm very shticky and I'm always like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And then I can see myself doing something like one of the most exciting and impactful songs that has ever had an impact on me in my life. And it is Thanks for the Medicare, Billy. The amount of times that I sing Thanks for the Medicare in my regular everyday life. We're just going to play it right now because
Yeah.
you can't do an episode about this with not you can't. I'm playing it.
Incredible.
Thanks for the Medicare. For Blue Cross and Blue Shield. For a hip that finally healed. Remember, on prescriptions, generic is a steal. We thank you so much.
So, okay.
What do you think? I can take it.
Let me tell you, first off, there are things that I say in my life and I've lived a life, Billy. I'm older than you, but not by much because I'm only 29, which is crazy. Because I don't know how that math works, but whatever. We're not doing math
You don't
here.
need to. Math is
And
not for you.
exactly, math is hard. And so I have a lot of problems, but that's not one. But I say certain things certain ways because of the Golden Girls. I just do. And one of the things I've said on this podcast millions of times, one of the things that I do say that has impacted how I say something is thank you so much. I can't not sing it, Billy. I
Yep.
can't not always. And most
The
people
kid-
don't get it.
Yeah, I think the kids on the internet are calling that a vocal stim these days.
Oh.
So it's like a vocal stim, just something that
Wait,
just
explain
plays
that to
on loop
me.
in your head. So I have a couple of videos on this. I have vocal stems from The Sopranos, vocal stems
Oh,
from,
yes, I've seen that.
and
Can we
it's
talk about The Sopranos? Because
Yeah.
there's something about Tony Soprano that gets me hard. But we'll talk. I'll text you.
yeah, we go. Yeah, absolutely. See, we're
Okay.
right back to Blanche and Mickey.
I know.
But 36-year-old Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the vocal stem is it's like something that is said in a particular cadence or in such a way that it just plays on loop in your head. And when you go to say something, it just comes out in that tone. So like, big ones from like Sex in the City are like, voila le French fry, voila le French hat. Like it just, when I say French fry, it just comes out like this.
Or whenever we do pizza or whatever, like in Sex in the City, I always go, get it while it's hot.
Absolutely.
If anyone wanted to commit a hate crime on me, it would be in that moment. It would be when I say that. But
perfect example of a vocal stim. Hello.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, I got it. Like how many people do we know just in our everyday lives that will say the phrase, well, I got it. And it's just like that comes from a very specific place. And so many people don't know that and don't get the reference. But if you know it immediately. You're like, oh, you're a Valerie Cherish girl. You and I are going to get along.
Yes, exactly. That is so true. I have a friend, his name's Dano. He's fantastic. He's like a music director, and he directed a Dolly Parton music video. And Reba. It was a Dolly and Reba duet thing. It's a great song, but whatever. And so we were at a party, I don't know when, and we were whatever, and I was being my inappropriate self, and then I said something about Murder, She Wrote, and then he said something back, and now our entire language is just Murder, She Wrote things. And it is like, I love that. To me, that vocal stem or whatever that thing you're talking about is, that I'll learn, because I have a feeling our relationship is now going to become just voice notes. But I do that, and I think what is so beautiful about it is, for people who listen to this podcast who are nostalgic lovers like I am, that's the foundation of so many of our friendships. Is we hear someone saying something in a certain way and we get it at the party, in the friend group, at the brunch, or whatever it is, and you immediately are like, I like you.
Yeah, there's like this osmosis between the two of you where you just like drift, connect with each other. It's
Oh, wow, we learned something today. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, well, there's another thing. Speaking of vocal stem, there's another, is that what it's called? Vocal stem?
Vocal stem. Yep, like vocal stimulate.
Okay. There's another vocal stem that happened in that moment after Sophia sang this great song, and I'm going to play it real quick. I want you to guess the word that I now forever say this way. Hold on.
What do you think now? Don't hold back. I can take the criticism. Depressing.
Awful.
Stinky. Of you.
Okay, which word do you think it is?
Okay, well, if I were a betting man, I'd put my cash on stinky.
That's stinky.
Yeah, it's gotta be stinky.
It's gotta be stinky.
I love the delivery of depressing. Like the way Rue hit depressing.
There are so many ways in which lines were delivered on the Golden Girls. I'm thinking of the episode where Blanche's daughter is going to get artificial insemination, and the girls go, ooh, and and B. Arthur going, ooh. It's like, I can't not reference that.
Yeah. A big one for me is I forget the setup for it, but when it's something about, the joke is a gay joke, and Sophia opens her mouth and Dorothy says not a word. The way she says not a word, and just like with the physical comedy, it's like vocal and physical at the same time. Oh my God, it's just a chef's
It's when I correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, and I know you will, and thank you for it. I think it's when Blanche's brother comes to town, and the Blanche's brother's soon-to-be husband says something about they don't mind sleeping in the same room or something, and I think that is the moment. I'm pretty sure that's the moment that you're referencing, and I love it. Oh, this episode. And then, of course, in the end of this episode, it's a Sophia moment. It's an Estelle moment. It weds Sophia to the Russia storyline in such a funny Sophia way, in that Rose is feeling defeated, but has the love of her friends, so she's fine. And then she reads the letter, and they give her support, and then she gets a phone call, and it's from the president, President Ronald Reagan. And she takes the call, and she's so excited that she runs and she puts it in her diary. And then Sophia comes out and goes, I know what I'm doing for the talent show. My Reagan impersonation.
Talk about a laugh out loud moment. Truly, so there is nothing. I mean, anyone who watches comedy regularly or writes comedy knows that unexpected twist is what makes you. And that last, and just to end the episode on that beat, I think, you know what, I'm going to sort of retract what I said earlier about more Sophia in the episode, because I think beat, now that I'm analyzing it a bit more, I think that beat lands even harder because of how little she is in the episode.
Yes, I think there's something about she's away getting ready for this talent show, trying to find the bit, whatever, that like her sparsity in the episode, I think allows for her moments to hit harder.
Really land. Yep. And
Yeah.
because that's the thing is anyone who watches the Golden Girls, they could have made an entire episode or entire A story at least just about Sophia prepping for the talent show. That would
Yeah.
have been she would have been in every scene. We would have seen a million different gags, great one-liners. But now that because that is the B story, is her prepping for that talent
Yeah.
show. But so much of it happens off camera. We don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those really,
Oh.
those moments that she's in just pack a punch.
Okay, Billy, you're fantastic. We're going to take another break and then we're going to come back for a really quick golden takeaway. I'll explain what that is in the commercials. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Just do a vocal stem real quick.
I'll stay here. Right here, darling.
And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Now, Billy, I usually have Kerri start, but I will start this one because you are a guest and I try to treat guests nicely. Okay, so my golden takeaway from this episode is, and I had a different one going in, but I think this is one that sort of wraps it up nicely for me, is that one of my favorite things about the Golden Girls is that it brings good people together. Like, that when you're at a party and you say a line or a vocal stem and you reference the Golden Girls, which we've all done numerous times, and you immediately are like, you're my friend. Like, you're the person I'm sticking with this party, or you're whatever it is, And that is one of my favorite things about the Golden Girls, is that I have never met a Golden Girls person I didn't like necessarily. Like, they're just good people. And in the Instagram algorithm sending you via the Golden Girls to me, and then me being the creepy elder millennial sliding into your DMs and being like, hey, do my show. You don't know who I am, but do my show. I love that the Golden Girls allows me to be that creep. And that is wonderful. And I am grateful for that. And that's my golden takeaway.
I love that. And that's a case in point right there. It's our relationship is a case in point. We didn't know each other, and something as small as a minute and a half long video about gold we both love just connected us quickly.
I love it. I love it.
Me too.
What's your golden takeaway?
Okay. I'm going to say my golden takeaway is that comedy and the shows like the Golden Girls have such a, they make us laugh, they make us smile, and all of those great, they make us feel something great, but there's so much beneath the surface of comedy. And it's not just, it's not just sitcoms, it's any type of comedy where there really is just, when written well, a point of view and a commentary that allows you to just sort of drop your guard for a second and think about things from a few different perspectives. And I think this particular episode is one where you wouldn't necessarily look at the relationships with the United States and the Soviet Union at the time and think, oh, hilarious, comedy gold. But there is a way to take those things. There's an appropriate way to take heavy subjects and important subjects and make them palatable and digestible to everyone. So I think it's a great example. Yeah.
That's a great example. That's a great example. Billy, you're fantastic. I don't think I've ever met like a personal trainer that also can talk Golden Girls. So like, where can people find you, find your services, do the things you do, and also follow you online?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at BLORUSSO _ at Billy Lorusso at B Lorusso. And then my TikTok is at Billy Lorusso, BILLYLORUSSO. And you can, I get a lot of my clients through social media and online. So please, if you're looking for a personal trainer, you're looking for a writer, you're looking for just a friend to talk Golden Girls or sitcoms with, shoot me a DM, follow me. I'd love to chat with you.
Oh, I'm about to reply in the most inappropriate of ways. Be prepared, Billy, because there's a lot of what is it? There's a lot of like fire emojis. There's a lot of LOL emojis. There's a lot of I tend to really gravitate towards the inappropriate responses, and that's what you're about to get.
You know what? You're not going to fight your nature, doll. You're not going to have to.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And thank you so much for listening. Of course, you are a part of Mom Moguls of Media, so go support Mom Plus. You can also follow us on social media at Golden Girls Pod on Twitter, Out on the Lanai Official on Instagram, Golden Girls Pod on Facebook, and I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on everything. Very exciting. And leave us a little rating and review wherever you're listening or watching this. It really does help us out a lot. And go watch us on YouTube and stuff, because that's fun too. And remember, as always, stay golden. Stay golden. Stay golden. Oh.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.